People, let's talk about something. I just got back from a nice trip. A nice trip. Let's talk about it right now, though. Let's talk about it right now. I went to Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm going to tell you about Phoenix. Phoenix is hot, hot, hot. Yes, it is. It's not a place that you are not hydrated for. Your ass will die. I'm going to tell you right now, Phoenix is hot. Now, I've been to Phoenix and I've been all over Arizona a few times because I've been to the Grand Canyon. But, I just never knew how hot it was until the last trip. It's 110 degrees in the morning. Jesus Christ, in the morning. You turn your room temperature on 80 degrees and you feel like you are in an ice cream cone. You feel like you are in the cone, in the ice cream, because Phoenix is hot. And, when they say the low is like 80, 90 degrees, that's the low. You know what that is? When you sleep. There's no in hell you can sleep in heat. No, you can't. Phoenix is not the most prettiest city in the world because there is no greenery. There's nothing's green. Everything is desert color. Everything. And there's really no scenery. You can drive for 3 hours and everything look the exact same. Exact same. And so, I've been to Flagstaff, Arizona. I've been to Tucson, Arizona. They look like Phoenix, just smaller. Yes, they do. They look just like Phoenix, just smaller. They got nice freeways. They got 7 or 8 lane freeways. It's spread out and all this stuff, I-10 and I-15 and all these other highways. But Arizona is one of those places that I'm not really sure why they built it. I really don't know why. Now, when you walk around Arizona, it's not a very diverse city. No, old whites, a couple of Navajo Indians, and young kids. They look like they were just students recently. I went to Mesa, Scottsdale, Phoenix. I did all this stuff, and during the daytime, there's nothing to do. There is absolutely nothing to do during the daytime. That's the sad part about it. Nothing to do at all. And I was like, okay, everybody's going to work. These old people over here looking at funeral homes and coffins. What am I going to do? There's nothing to do. It's a city of have and have-nots. It's not very diverse. I don't know. You know what? I don't feel like you can make it in Phoenix if you didn't come with money. If you didn't come with money, I don't feel like you can make it. Because the only people I've seen getting rich in Phoenix are the people who do HVAC work. The people who fix air conditioners and heaters and all. Well, ain't no heaters. The heater is God's talent. It's the sun out there on your head. Ain't no heaters at all. But I don't feel like you can make any money doing anything in Phoenix. Outside of owning a small HVAC business, because the HVAC people, they got to stay busy. Because you're going to run your air conditioner all day. Now, the Grand Canyon isn't too far away, but that's heat too. Yeah, I went to the Grand Canyon. Oh, yeah. It gets very, very hot. So it's not a very diverse city as far as the type of people. When you see a lot of old whites, you're going to see a lot of seafood and steak places. Because they're not going to go, it's not a food truck friendly city at all. I was there for a week. It's not a food truck friendly city at all. Food trucks are not the cheapest food you're going to find. But you will find diverse food. That's the key. I tend to look at the population of the community I'm visiting, and that gives me an idea of what kind of food I should be expecting to find a lot of. Yeah, because the old people, they have money. Because if they don't, they stay where they're from. There's nobody in Phoenix who is from Phoenix. Everybody in Phoenix is from somewhere else. Even the students, they come all over Arizona, but they're second and third generation Arizonians. Because their grandma or their mom and dad moved out there to get away from people they don't want to be around, which means people generally of different ethnic backgrounds. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you're not seeing, unless the area's been regentrified, then they'll run back to it, like Brooklyn, New York, some parts of Washington, D.C. You know, they'll run back to it once you have torn it down. You torn down their memories, they'll go back to rebuild memories if it's nicer than what the memories they had the first time. Yep. That's what they do. Now, it's got crime, but I think their type of crime is different than the type of crime I'm used to. I think their type of crime is stuff like car accidents, theft from a car, the idea of people shooting each other and killing each other, the typical Baltimore East Coast type stuff. I don't think they got any of that, because old people aren't committing those kind of crimes, and university students are not committing those kind of crimes unless they're like the crazy guy in Idaho. But other than that, the university students are not doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's how it works. So, what I want to tell you is that, when you go out to Phoenix, just have it, just have an agenda or plan on what you're going to do every day. Because it's not more than a 3-day trip to Phoenix. You can see damn near everything. No need to go to Mexico, because hell, you can see them in Phoenix. So there's no need to go see anything. As far as diversity goes, now you may want to go to the Navajo reservation out in Puma and other places, which is fine too, to buy some things. But that's a hike. Arizona's a wide ass state. It's big. I'm talking about land wise, it's big. There's no, let me take a 20-minute drive, a 30-minute drive. No. Everything's a day trip. Everything. And when I say a day trip, each way. That's why I say you spend 3 days. 1 day going where you want to go, 1 day there, 1 day going back, and you're back on the plane. Every single building is desert colored brown. Every single building. I didn't see a lot of what you call it, steel and glass type buildings out there. They got some. Don't get me wrong. I didn't see a bunch of them. I see a lot of concrete. I didn't see no wood structures at all. Not sure why. Because from what I know, Arizona's not famous for its tornadoes. But I could be wrong. And it don't rain a lot. Yeah, I can see, because rain messes wood all up. It don't rain a lot. So, like I said, you go out there, diversity is not its calling card. The closest you're going to get is Hispanics. And they're primarily in the cities. They're not, they're either in the cities or crossing the border. One of the two, not sure. But you see a bunch of them in the city, though. Let's talk about the food. The food in Arizona suck. It sucks. There's nothing to eat. There's nothing that's Arizonian. I think the most famous thing they got that people talked about a lot was chimichangas and Sonoran hot dogs. When it comes to dinner, I do not want to eat a damn hot dog. A hot dog is a snack to me. It's a good lunch, but it's not dinner. No, it's not dinner at all. And plus, what are you going to call your vegetables? Relish? Yeah, they eat Sonoran hot dogs because they got Mexican flavors. Well, a lot of people have been seasoning their food for years. The fact that somebody from Mexico came across and put a little seasoning on a hot dog and you went berserk by it because it's wrapped in bacon. I've had those for a long time. So you're not going to impress me with just that. But for some people, that's the best they're ever going to do. And they said, oh, we got fry bread. I've had that at a Navajo reservation before. Yeah, I've had it before. And that could be what you call Arizonian, but fry bread really don't cost that much to make. Now, the other thing they have a lot of too, and I've been trying to figure this part out. Well, now I know why. They have a lot of steakhouses. Scottsdale, Mesa, they have a lot of steakhouses. Because that's what old white people eat. Because you know what? Going to a steakhouse separates you from people who can't afford to eat in one. Yeah, it separates you from people who can't afford to eat in one. And nothing wrong with that. But the one thing I noticed in Arizona, remember I said earlier that, I didn't see a lot of diversity of the people. I saw a lot of students, a lot of old white people. And nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing. In Scottsdale, which is a nice suburb of Phoenix, and it seems like it's the up-and-coming suburb of Phoenix, they had a lot of steakhouses, but they also had a lot of what I call bar joints. They had a lot of bar joints. You know, when people tell you what's the best thing in Scottsdale or best thing in Phoenix, and they tell you it's the prickly pear margarita, I don't go to food joints for drinks. I don't go to drink joints for food. In Scottsdale, it was hard to separate the two. Me and Matt went to a few of them. Yeah, Fall Zone. Yeah, it's really hard to separate them because none of the food joints had great menus, but they all had good bar menus. All the bar joints had great bar menus and not great food menus. So you see, my point was I couldn't separate the two because they talk about how great the drinks are. That's great to talk about all that stuff until about 6:30 hits, when your stomach's saying, feed me. You can't feed your stomach liquor. Nope. You will have a reaction that a lot of young people don't mind having. But a lot of us, those days are passed us by a long time ago. So my whole point is this. I want real food when I'm hungry. Yeah, I want real food when I'm hungry. I don't want liquor. I'll get that later, or beer. And people brag about the craft breweries they got in the city and all this and all that. That's happy hour stuff. That's happy hour conversation. That's not grown up talking. So almost everything they had in Arizona, food-wise, came from somewhere else because people retired from wherever they were from, and it came from somewhere else. That's what people was talking about. That's not what I was talking about. Now, the Mexican food is all right, but yeah, I guess it depends on what part of Mexico the cook or chef comes from. It was all right, but it's in between Tex-Mex and California Mex. Yeah, Arizona Mex is a little bit different. You know, they had a wide variety of it, and the food was not pricey at all. A lunch cost you $10 to $20 and a dinner $30 to $40, which is normal price. Yeah, so it wasn't bad at all. Now, one thing that Arizona had a lot of too, and when I was talking to a couple people, and maybe just me, they had a lot of pizza joints. People in Arizona love pizza. They love pizza. But I didn't see a lot of Italian restaurants, just pizza joints. Maybe because the population I was with is so young, and pizza to them is still a meal, where we all know that's not true at all. That's young kids' junk food. Yeah, I try to go to places that the locals go to, and then I found out real quickly, Arizona don't have any damn locals. Everybody came somewhere else, so they ate in Arizona what they ate back home. You know, they ate the same thing in Arizona what they ate back home. So I had to get used to that idea, because I'm thinking, hey, let's go get some food that's only native to Arizona. Nah, that doesn't exist. Yeah, they told me so much. That doesn't exist. Now, in Phoenix, the skyline is small. The buildings aren't very, very tall. You get your best view of the skyline in Phoenix when you go from the airport terminal to the baggage claim. You know, from the terminal to the baggage claim. You get your best shot of the skyline. But Phoenix it's pretty clean, but they got homeless. But I didn't see homeless in the suburbs. I saw them only in Phoenix. So those people who were running from the cities to the suburbs, they knew what they were doing. They were running from the homeless, and I didn't see them out where I was at. I saw them when I went to where they were at, which is a big difference, when I was going downtown. So that is some of the things that I know about Phoenix. Now, the one thing about Phoenix, and don't get this twisted, It's not far from the Grand Canyon, but it's not close. It's not close at all. When I say close, I'm talking about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. When I gotta drive 3 or 4 hours, you're not close. That's a day trip. That is a day trip. So when people tell you come to Arizona, come to Phoenix, you gotta ask them why. Yeah, ask them why. Because I can think of a why. And I've been in Phoenix probably about 8 or 9 times for work, and maybe only twice for vacation. But I'm saying that when I went on vacation, only because it was the winter time and I was going to the Grand Canyon and I needed a place to stay at because there is no place that was close to the Grand Canyon that was decent. And maybe because I went a different part of the year too, because it do snow in Arizona, believe it or not, But if you want to go, my thing is, I stayed in the Embassy Suites in Scottsdale, and I spent about $180 a night. It was cheap. My price point is $250 a night or less, but I spent about $180 a night, so I didn't mind that. Food was, Scottsdale food's not too expensive. It's below average. It's your 20 to 30, maybe 25 for lunch, and it's your 30 to 40 for dinner. And these don't include drinks. With drinks, it's probably about $50 with drinks and stuff. But so it wasn't bad at all. And it's not really that far from Vegas, which is one of my favorite places to go, to use Vegas to go to Utah and other places and stuff. In Arizona, Arizona is also one of the places that I don't know what you can do to make it if you don't already have money. I really don't know what you can do. But I guess you can make it through mom and pop restaurants or whatever. I didn't see a lot of that. I seen mostly chains, steakhouses, big type restaurants, the ones that can seat 50 or more people. I seen mostly that. I didn't see a lot of other types of restaurants and stuff there. Now, saying that, and then, also a lot of the restaurants open very early for dinner because of old folks. Old folks like to have dinner at 4:30. We all know that. They like to have dinner early. So I did see a lot of them opening early and a lot of them closing early. But when I say closing early, in the suburbs, they were not closing early, because I think that's where their families live. But in the city, they were closing early by my standards, 9, 10 o'clock. And I know that there's a lot of delivery stuff going on. So I'm saying all that, and this is your boy, the old school traveler, telling you that if you go to Arizona, don't spend a lot of money, don't spend a lot of time. Get in, spend a day seeing Phoenix, and make sure you got a plan. Because when you don't have a plan, these cities can make it boring very, very, very quickly. They can make it very, very quickly boring. So go out and see Phoenix, but have a plan, and don't, like I said, there's nothing to see from Phoenix outside of going to either Vegas or the Grand Canyon, because it's just desert. You drive for 3 or 4 hours, it looks the exact same. They got these little mountaintops. I don't know what they call them. Some people call them mountains, some people call them cliffs, some people call them hills. But it looked almost like, Gulliver, came through there with a lawnmower and just chopped off all the mountaintops. That's what it looked like to me. But make your own mind up. But if I was on a limited budget, I would never go back. I'm not on a limited budget. I'm not on a limited budget. I'm all about fun, and I just did not see what the people in Phoenix see about Phoenix. I didn't see it, and if you did, let me know in the comments, because I just didn't see it. It's just, like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I tell you how it is, because I seen a lot of Phoenix is spread the hell out. Ain't no 10-minute drive anywhere. It's spread out. It's got everything you want, but it depends what you want. What I wanted was a nighttime low of 75 degrees or 70 at the most. I wanted some food that was not imported from a different part of the country, like barbecue, like pizza. I want something Arizona had that I can only get it in Arizona. That's my whole goal when I eat out in these places, to tell you I only want what they have. If I can get it somewhere else, why would I go to Arizona and go to the steakhouse when I got Texas 2 states away with cows running around wickedly everywhere? So that's how I am. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to tell you the way it is. I'm going to keep doing that because too many people sugarcoat shit. And that's not how life works. So this is the Old School Traveler saying out.